Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Reeb and I am a freelance artist. Today's video is tackling a topic that is pretty close to home for me. It is an artist's perspective against the use of AI art. An incredibly biased perspective, I shall admit, but nonetheless. With this video, I aim to address a few points, specifically what is AI art and what are the ethical, legal, and environmental concerns that come with it. On another note, a lot of my work, both freelance and personal, is based in the fantasy genre, specifically around tabletop roleplay games like Dungeons & Dragons. This is a somewhat relevant piece of info for later, just considering the impact of AI on the world of TTRPGs and the creative community as a whole. This video's topic is one that is very near and dear to me, considering the impact it has had on not only my career as an artist, but the creative community in general. I'm going to be very candid. This video is going to have an incredibly biased perspective against AI art. And also, in the name of honesty, I am no expert. I am an amateur in my creative field, as well as an amateur when it comes to technology like AI. Which is not meant to discredit any of my research into the topic, but just to keep things honest. My perspective on this topic is incredibly personal and more based on my feelings on the matter. I will of course do my best to support my points with the proper references, but I wanted to make it incredibly clear that I am just humbly a frustrated and tired artist. This topic is one I've been meaning to crack open, and this video is also a great way for me to test out my fancy new microphone. So, without further ado, let's get into it. What is AI? Let's start with some basic info about what AI-generated art is. Artificial intelligence art, or let's use the term images here, AI-generated images are essentially any piece of digital content that is created or enhanced with AI-generated tools. Your typical generators include Midjourney, DALL-E, and Stable Diffusion. AI generators train their algorithm by data gathering. This process involves scraping incredibly large quantities of content off of the internet, and this is where the problem really begins. This scraping of data is done without the knowledge or consent of content creators. Even you, my dear viewer, have had your content scraped. Artists across the internet have had their work unknowingly ripped by AI data gathering, used to generate new content by so-called AI artists. God, that made me cringe. There are also artists that knowingly had their work ripped but have had no power to stop it. This is the root cause behind one of the larger ethical concerns in regards to AI, as the scraping of stolen work and the use of AI in studios has had a devastating effect on the creative industry as a whole. For example, Adobe has more recently implemented AI tools into their programs, such as Photoshop. They also have recently allowed AI into their Adobe stock images and marketplace. Already, several claims have come up from prominent artists in the creative community that their work has been scraped and stolen by AI and sold off in Adobe stock images. Not only has their work been used to generate AI images, their artists' names have also been used as tags to sell or otherwise promote the AI-generated content, which is really just salt in the wound. Okay, breaking news. This is Editing Reeb here. I just have to add on to this note about artists specifically being singled out and used to train AI, because this is even closer to home for me than before. Midjourney developers have been recorded creating a database of artists to rip from, a database of their names specifically, their styles, their artistic identities to rip and use for their own. More specifically, they seemed to target the illustration style of many Magic the Gathering artists. These developers have composed a list of thousands of specific artists, one such that I have been a big fan of for some time. He's a fellow Australian illustrator, and his work has truly inspired me to keep pursuing art. The dude's even signed my sketchbook. His work means a lot to me, and a lot to many, and to know that his and others' work has been ripped like this... Yeah, I was trying to pull my punches a bit going into this video, but I am here in editing read mode to say, fuck that, and of course, fuck AI. Here's the thing about art styles. We artists spend our lifetimes honing it. Years upon years of fine-tuning, studying, learning, adjusting our work. The blood, sweat, and tears put into finding our style, for it to then be ripped by AI in the blink of an eye? With no thought, just callous greed, just a machine. Okay. now that I've gotten that off my chest, I'll put editing read mode away and get back to the video. This is just one of many ethical concerns about the use of AI. More and more artists, both living and past, are having their work stolen so that others can profit off it. And more artists are losing out on jobs, from freelance opportunities to studios laying off creative staff. I've seen it myself from a freelance side of things, especially in the tabletop roleplay game community. The amount of times now I've seen posts in TTRPG groups looking for artists to commission, and instead some AI guy pops up saying, "Don't waste your money with artists, just get AI to do it for you. Or better yet, pay me to generate it instead, haha." Far out, it honestly makes me sick. I understand it may be difficult for some to afford to commission artists. However, there are alternative options outside of AI. There are free online character creators such as Hero Forge, Pit Crews. You can even use video games as tools to create a character. For God's sake, you can even use The Sims. The Sims, I tell you. At least artists were paid something for their work on that. We've only hit the tip of this shitty iceberg when it comes to the damage AI has done to the creative community. Artist alley markets and conventions are also at stake. Already I have seen and heard conventions using AI-generated images for promotional material about their event. 3 indie conventions in the past fortnight. Already I have seen and heard conventions defending a merchant selling AI-generated artwork at their event. Though this is admittedly rare, several conventions have taken a hard stance on the use of AI because of its ethical and legal issues. I've very personally seen companies that pride themselves on being alternative and indie boasting about the use of AI in their work, posting a tutorial on how they made their latest promotional material, which was just an Instagram reel of their designer typing prompts into a generator. Seriously? But also, circling back to the use of AI in the TTRPG community, it's everywhere now. Whether it's a D&D comedy skit on TikTok with a generic fantasy AI-generated background, or whether it's an indie Kickstarter using AI art for a D&D campaign guide, or even when it's a D&D actual play show using AI to generate character art for their game. And how could I forget the cherry on top? An artist for the Wizards of the Coast was caught using AI-generated artwork for one of D&D's latest modules, Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants. Now, I do want to add here that the community reaction to this artist using AI did actually spur Wizards of the Coast into disallowing artists to utilize AI in future projects. So that's a silver lining of sorts. That's the fucking kicker, isn't it? I've seen it so much firsthand. People that make their platforms on being alternative, making their whole thing on supporting indie creators, you know, the works. And yet they turn around and dive face first into all of this AI stuff, knowing just how much damage it is doing to us indie creators, to artists, to the creative community across the board. Voice actors having their voices ripped and fed into the algorithm, writers striking so that they don't have to lose their jobs to AI too. Like, I cannot begin to fully express just how bad it is out here for us. There are many, admittedly, who don't know the damage that AI is doing, which is another reason I wanted to make this video. I know I must come across as a bit intense about it, but it's been important to me to say something, to hopefully help show people there are better options. Now, all of this said, I do have to pay credit to the fact that AI can ethically be used as a tool in other non-creative industries, or at least I have heard as much. This part I am truly no expert on, and I would prefer to only speak on what I know and what concerns my craft. So let's move on to the next topic. Legal concerns. AI is strewn with legal issues. Obviously, there are major problems with the fact that generated content is ripped from existing creators' work. In some cases, you can literally still make out a mishmash of artist signatures in whatever ungodly mess is created. But also, there is the matter of copyright. Can AI creators claim copyright on their content? No, they cannot. As stated in a guide by the University of South Australia, AI tools do not currently have legal status and cannot own copyright. Works solely created by artificial intelligence are therefore not eligible for copyright provisions in Australia. As well as this, US federal judge Beryl A. Howell has ruled that artificial intelligence cannot hold a copyright for works it creates. The question has been brought to court on several occasions now, even before the creation of current-day AI with the 2014 legal case of wildlife photographer David J. Slater, in which he tried to claim copyright against an ape, specifically a crested macaque named Naruto. Yes, Naruto. Anyways, Naruto used Slater's camera equipment and took a selfie. Slater later, see what I did there, went to the courts to try and claim copyright on the work, and the United States Copyright Office said no. They officially stated that works created by a non-human, such as a photograph taken by a monkey, are not copyrightable. Everyone say thank you, Naruto. Now I know that there are going to be some people who argue, oh, but a human put the prompts in, so therefore no. Here's an analogy I've seen going around. Say we're at a restaurant, a customer orders a meal and the chef makes it. Guess who made the meal? The chef did. The customer was not in the back of that kitchen sweating their ass off. Works are created by AI, prompted by humans, sure, but created by code. The works used to be scraped and mashed into the final generated image? Yeah, those are made by human artists. Many human artists, in fact. It's a contentious thing. Much of the issue arises due to a lack of human involvement in creation, but of course all comes back to the issue of data scraping and usage of stolen artwork. There are further ethical and legal issues with AI generators, or more specifically, the content that they are trained off of, as well as the content that they are turned into. It gets worse. Content warning here for mention of child sexual abuse material. A Stanford study reports that Stable Diffusion was trained on illegal child sexual abuse material. Midjourney uses the same data set. AI is such a new technology. As it stands, there are very little, if any, safeguards when it comes to illicit content like this. Experts report the extreme difficulty in expunging this illegal content from the dataset, as well as the complications it has caused for persecuting real-life abusers as AI-generated content becomes more and more difficult to discern. It doesn't stop here either. Already there are reports online of people being targeted, harassed, and blackmailed with AI-generated illicit deepfakes. On a related note, AI has similarly been abused to create fake images for political propaganda, which is a whole other can of goddamn worms. We already live in a new age of technology and misinformation campaigns. Adding AI in the mix has been disastrous. To surmise, the damage has already been done. It stands to reason that, in my personal opinion, the continued use and support of AI only inflicts more harm, only promotes AI to continue to scrape, feed, train. We can't allow this to continue without safeguards. Environmental concerns. Right, I'll be honest, tackling the environmental concerns in this is even further out of my depth. I literally do not have the field vocabulary to give this part of the topic the justice it deserves, but I will try. AI systems require incredible amounts of computational power and large amounts of energy to function. The system also requires unholy amounts of storage for digital information, literally millions of data, millions of scraped content, which leads, unsurprisingly, to a damaging carbon footprint as well as adding to rising greenhouse gas emissions. Data centers used for AI operation also drain large amounts of electricity. Cooling systems used to operate and maintain these data centers also drain substantial amounts of energy, such as water used for aforementioned cooling. I'll keep it brief here, but to summarize, with where AI operations stand currently, the toll they take when it comes to the power, resources, storage, and energy needed is a lot, to say the least. For the ethical and legal side of AI, there are little to no safeguards. The same goes for environmental. I have not seen any representatives for these AI generators speak on these environmental issues. People are generally pretty quiet on it. So I felt it needed to be at least addressed in my video as well. It is as much of an issue as the rest. What can we do? Now, you might be wondering, what can we actually do about AI? What is there to do? Most importantly, when it comes to this kind of technology, it is absolutely vital that we just simply stop using it, that we stop sharing it. It may not be possible for us to totally stop the rollout of AI, but by not using, sharing, or feeding it, I genuinely believe we can make a pretty solid dent. I know a lot of people that think sharing AI is harmless fun too, D&D TikToks with the AI stuff, or some generated meme, or AI art generated of a favorite character, or even those anime filters, that kind of thing going around. We collectively need to leave all of that behind. Continuing to post and share and participate in using AI just only helps it grow. So let's put a stop to that, together. There is some hope for artists as new technology is developed to oppose AI. Some of you may have already heard of such programs like Glaze and Nightshade, new weapons in the AI disrupting arsenal. These tools essentially poison the content they cover, making it difficult for AI models to mimic or scrape. For example, the artist community has taken to putting these glazes over their art before posting, which helps defend their work from being stolen for AI training. Finally, now more than ever, it is absolutely vital that we do what we can to support creatives. Artists, designers, photographers, writers, actors, all of those in the creative field. Our livelihoods are at stake. It's so important that communities come together in support of human artists. In my mind, it is art that makes us human after all. It is art that makes us feel human. It is art that makes us feel alive. And yeah, maybe that's the emotional, artsy, wishy-washy, hoo-ha stuff on your side of me talking, but it's important to me. But that does bring us to the end of the video, and I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to watch this, to listen to me talk. I wanted to put out there as well, I am open to feedback. I'm totally open to discussion. If people would like to see more of this topic, or have any questions in particular, I am open to that. You're welcome to comment or contact me. Please do. I also wanted to put a big shout out here to my patrons. Making these videos is only possible with the support of them. So here is a massive thank you. It means the world to me to be able to make these kinds of things, to make art, and to do that with your support is just everything. So thank you again. I'm looking forward to catching you all in the next video. Bye bye now.